Hello, and welcome to A Little Less Afraid, 3 steps to reduce your fear of getting dementia. I like to start this session with a quote from Richard Taylor, an advocate living with dementia and author of Alzheimer's from the Inside Out. He said, "Here is what I wish someone had told me about 3 weeks after I was diagnosed. Dementia is not a death sentence. It is a wake-up call to live your life today and every day for the rest of your life as fully as possible." Hi, my name's Emerson Lee, and I'm a dementia readiness coach and life enrichment specialist. I'm trained as a certified dementia practitioner, a certified Montessori dementia care professional, and an end-of-life doula. I started as a one-on-one life enrichment provider in memory care, where we shared many walks, dance parties, and conversations. I like to point out that sometimes the walks were a very slow 10 feet in a walker. Sometimes dance parties were toe tapping in a wheelchair, and sometimes conversations that didn't make sense, but we enjoyed those experiences together. And the core of my practice is a signature course called What Am I Forgetting? A Plan for My Future Self. I also want to tell you about a group that is really important to me that I am a member of called Reimagining Dementia, a Creative Coalition for Justice. The mission statement says, Reimagining Dementia is committed to creativity, belonging, caring, relationships, joy, and growth for everyone. Reimagining Dementia has emerged as a grassroots catalyst for change and a visible hub and community of support for all. Reimagining Dementia is giving everyone impacted by dementia the tools, understandings, and support they need to thrive. One of the reasons that I host A Little Less Afraid is because I want you to have the tools, understandings, and support that you need to thrive too. I hope you will learn more and join the coalition at reimaginingdementia.com. When I talk about dementia readiness, some people think that I am referring to a will, an advance directive, a power of attorney, things that we think of as getting your affairs in order. I highly recommend those steps, and I can refer you to some wonderful end-of-life planners who can and would be happy to help you in the process. But I think of that as end-of-life planning. When I refer to dementia readiness, I am thinking about the psychosocial emotional preparations for the possibility of getting dementia. What does that look like? That can mean documenting your favorite things, especially experiences of music, nature, and food. Adapting your hobbies and interests so you can still enjoy them even if your abilities change. Busting myths that might be affecting your perspective. Building a village around you. So if you start to show symptoms or get a diagnosis, you already have support around you. And connecting to a global community of resources and role models, like the many wonderful people at Reimagining Dementia. One person who did some work with me said, I found myself starting to think about what songs would make my dad smile, even if he didn't remember my face, and what games I would still be playing when I'm 90. It felt empowering. And that is dementia readiness. Dementia readiness might feel particularly supportive if you have family history of Alzheimer's or other types of dementia. If you're noticing or have been told about memory lapses, if you say things like, my memory is getting really bad, you might have risk factors like hearing loss or sleep apnea. You might be in your 60s or 70s or beyond, and you don't want to stop having fun. You want to keep living a full, meaningful life, and I am here to help in that process. Some other things you might be experiencing are that you feel a jolt of panic when you notice a memory lapse. You wonder or even search online, is this normal? Should I be worried? Am I getting dementia? You worry that you'll forget your loved ones and be a burden, which is a core anxiety for a lot of people. And you desperately click on articles about potential cures or treatments for Alzheimer's. Every few weeks or months, there seems to be new information about a possible cure or treatment. And if you feel the need, the desperation to click on that headline, get that information, that might indicate you're feeling some anxiety about it. And through Reimagining Dementia and Cultivating Dementia Readiness, we hope that you'll have access to more feelings than just fear. We hope that you'll feel a sense of personhood. I can still be me and enjoy my life. Possibilities, I can envision a hopeful future. Partnership, that I have ways to stay connected to the people I love. Empowerment, I feel confident no matter what happens. And peace. I know I can be supported and safe on this journey. If you have these concerns, you might wonder, what is my risk of getting dementia? How worried should I be? And we have new information about the prevalence. In January 2025, a study of over 15,000 people found that if you're over 55 years old, your lifetime risk of getting dementia is 42%. That is much higher than previously thought. And I know a 42% chance of getting dementia might feel terrifying, but there is good news. Through reimagining dementia and cultivating dementia readiness, there's an almost 100% chance that you can have a much better experience if you get it. That's why I'm so glad you're here today. Being here at this session means that you've taken the first step. I encourage you to think of it instead of as there's an almost 50% chance that I could get it. Will it happen? How will I cope? To think of, I have 100% chance to be more empowered, prepared, and at peace about this possibility. And that is what we're doing here together today. So what does that even look like? It can sound like such an abstract concept and something that is impossible to do. That's why I created a 3-step process. I call it the bridge to dementia readiness. You are probably on this side of the bridge where you feel fear of getting dementia. And through these 3 steps, you get to a place where you feel able to enjoy life now in the present and in the future if you do get a diagnosis. Those 3 steps are to reclaim your personhood, reimagine your future, and reinvigorate your village. We're going to look at 3 myths that form the basis of the need for those 3 steps. The first myth is, if you get dementia, you won't be yourself. There's an idea that your memory is what makes you you, that if you lose your memory, you lose yourself, that you will be a shell of yourself. Some people have even said that a person with dementia is a zombie or a stranger. That wasn't Richard Taylor's experience. He said, I may have Alzheimer's, but I'm still me. I still have the same thoughts, feelings, desires, and dreams. Please don't write me off. And I have witnessed and heard this same message from people living with dementia at all stages in many different ways and situations. They say, I'm still me. I'm still here. That is why we take the step of reclaiming your personhood. The second myth is, if you get dementia, you will be miserable. There's an idea that after a diagnosis of dementia, you will no longer be able to access joy or love or peace, that you won't be able to have new experiences, and that you and your loved ones will be miserable for the rest of your life. Christine Thalker, an advocate living with dementia and author of For This I Am Grateful, said, in opposition to what the world perceives, my experience has been that people living with dementia are often happy, bright, and engaging, and share in laughter and joy. And this is what I experienced in memory care. I found that our residents were wonderful, vibrant people who I had fun with, who made me laugh. I enjoyed my time with them. We had a good time together. I wouldn't have felt that way about my time in memory care if it was simply a miserable experience all day long for everyone. The fact is, it's very possible for people living with dementia to feel joy, especially if experiences are adapted to their needs and abilities. And that is why we take the step of reimagining your future. And the third myth is, if you get dementia, you will forget your loved ones and be a burden. There is this idea that if you can no longer recognize and say the name of your loved one, then your relationship is over and you'll be a burden because they'll be taking care of just a shell of who you were, that you'll be a stranger. And there are many people who are challenging this conceptualization of what it means to care for someone in the later stages of dementia. Rebecca Berry recently wrote an article in the New York Times called Alzheimer's Can Be a World of Endless Second Chances. Rebecca said, when Dad first started forgetting things, I thought I'd lost him. I didn't imagine I'd have more of him than I did before. This is one of my favorite things to talk about with people because there are many ways to stay connected to the people we love, even if we can no longer speak or remember. Some examples are through music, food, nature, and touch. I have been able to facilitate and witness so many meaningful experiences of deep connection that happened when someone was no longer able to speak or recognize their loved ones. The bond was still there in really beautiful ways. And that is why we take the step of reinvigorating your village. Now I want to tell you a story that exemplifies these 3 steps. Greta has recently stopped speaking. Besides occasionally saying or yelling, "No," she kicks and bites when someone tries to bathe her. My supervisor asks me to review her file to see if I can find anything that could help. I almost miss a short sentence on one of the last pages. Greta is from Poland and likes polka music. I invite Greta to a quiet area where we can watch a video of polka dancers. As the song starts, she slowly starts to smile and tap her toes. Tap, tap, tap. I ask her if she likes it. She says, yes. As the song continues, she adds, "I saw it." I'm not sure what she means, so I smile. A few seconds later, she adds, "In Europe, the kids, we saw it. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful." I'm guessing from her comments that she had seen polka dancers on a trip to Europe. I tell her that that sounds wonderful, and she says, "It was." These are the most words that she has said in weeks. It will take years before I realize that this moment happened because it was connected to her personhood, adapted to her current abilities, and reminded her of the people that she loves. This will be a process that I come to cherish and to repeat over and over again. Thank you for listening. Now I want to do a snapshot of this process with you. So I'm going to ask 3 questions, and I invite you to pause the video as I ask them and let yourself think of whatever comes up for you. In some ways, this is more of a process with your subconscious than a rational process. So see what comes to mind. So the first question is, what's a song that makes you smile that you learned between the ages of 10 and 30? Memories from these ages tend to be stronger due to a phenomenon called the reminiscence bump. These songs might come from favorite bands, musicals, movies, a family member, or a special occasion. What is a familiar, pleasant, and accessible place that you could sit and listen to it? It might be a room in your or someone else's house, a yard, porch, a bench, park, or other favorite place. And who would you invite to enjoy it with you? This could be a friend, sibling, spouse, child, or other cherished person. So again, I invite you to pause and to write down on pen and paper or on your phone or computer, write down answers to these 3 questions. But wait, there's more. You are invited to text or email your loved one and say something like this: "I'm in a workshop that talks about the power of music for people with dementia. If I get dementia, I hope that we listen to and share your song." By doing this step, you'll be communicating a preference, imagining it in your future, and inviting a loved one to join you. In other words, you will be reclaiming your personhood, reimagining your future, and reinvigorating your village. I invite you again to pause the video and send this text or email to your loved one. So this has been a bite of dementia readiness. Some people have described this bite as refreshing, like a little taste of a chocolate bar, and they might say they want more. If you feel that way too, you can find the full course in What Am I Forgetting? A Plan for My Future Self. In What Am I Forgetting? A Plan for My Future Self, you'll get step-by-step guidance to make a plan so that you don't lose yourself, your relationships, or your joy. The 4 sessions in this course are Make a Moment Map, your map to more moments, which is a really fun, practical, and powerful tool that I created over 10 years and have used with many people living with dementia. For Reclaiming Your Personhood, you'll take I'm Not a Zombie and Other Messages from Your Future Self. To Reimagine Your Future, you'll take Choose Your Own Adventure, 4 Alternatives to Dreading Dementia. And to reinvigorate your village, you'll take Connected Forever, a relational toolbox for the entire dementia journey. So through these 4 sessions, you will have gone through every step of the process. It's a comprehensive way to move through the bridge to dementia readiness and to create a personalized life enrichment plan. And these 4 sessions are available in 2 options. One is a 4-week session where you take 1 session per week for 4 weeks. And one is a 2-day option, which is 2 sessions per day, often over a weekend. Participants have described these courses as helpful, empowering, fun, uplifting, and a breath of fresh air. So it is certainly not like a college lecture. It's not formulaic or boring. It tends to be more fun and creative and thought-provoking. The cost is $300. A deposit of $150 will save your seat, and the remaining $150 can be paid on the first day of class. And to make sure that there's time for sharing questions and personalized guidance, which is a really important part of the process, there are 15 seats in each course. So 15 seats in the 4-week session and 15 seats in the 2-day option. But what would you get out of this course? I want you to know what to expect from our time together. It will in many ways be similar to our time together today. You'll learn more ways to think about and relate to dementia, inspired by advocates living with it. You'll make a plan to maintain and even deepen bonds with loved ones. You'll learn make practical, fun tools that were created from over 10 years of experience to add to your toolkit. You'll get personalized expert recommendations from a life enrichment specialist who has supported people at all stages of dementia. And you'll be in a small class of people who are in a similar situation, with time for questions, conversations, storytelling, and laughter. And you will come away with it. You will leave with a personalized life enrichment plan that protects you, your relationships, and your joy for the rest of your life. And how will you feel at the end of it? The hope is that you will feel confidence, hope, and peace of mind about the possibility of getting dementia. You'll have excitement for your future because you'll be equipped with ways to still be you and enjoy life and stay connected to your loved ones. You'll have less worry that you'll be a burden, and you'll feel capable of creating positive experiences for the rest of your life. Anne was a participant in my course who said, "I want to tell you how much I've gotten out of this, how grateful I am to you. This is truly needed work. I've enjoyed what I've done, and it's really helped me." To see dates for the next session and save your seat, you can go to makinghappymemories.com/course. And if you want to stay in touch and get more affirmations, tips, quotes, and updates, sign up for Love Letters to Your Brain at makinghappymemories.com/newsletter. Thank you for attending A Little Less Afraid. It has been wonderful to spend this time with you, and I hope to see you again soon.